Welcome to the Back to Brick Property Podcast. I'm your host, David Lamb. On this podcast, we'll be stripping property investors and business people alike back to brick to find out how their journey can help you on your journey.
This podcast is brought to you by Orange Sales and Lettings. If you know someone that is looking to sell or let a home, please get in touch. Referral fees are available. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Back to Brick Property Show. I'm your host, David Lamb. Today's show is sponsored by Orange Sales and Lettings. Today we have on the show Danielle Jolliffe. She's come all the way from sunny Manchester. Knowing her, she's probably run here. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Yes, very well, thank you.
Good.
I really do appreciate you coming down, or up, I should say.
Yeah, it's up,
especially this early.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity.
Great.
To be on your podcast. I've followed you. I think I started following you on TikTok first, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was TikTok, and then I've only just started doing the socials, really, relatively speaking. Well, so have you. You're offline. It's just a short period of time, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then Instagram, yeah. So we'll talk about the socials, actually, because it's quite an important part of what we both do, isn't it? So, but I know you've been in property a relatively short period of time, but what you've achieved in that period of time is like next level. And I think it'll be very inspiring for my listeners to hear what's achievable within a short period of time, but also what it takes to get into property in today's environment, because a lot of the guests I speak to, and myself included, we got into property 20 years ago. It's a different ball game now. So for someone to enter the property arena now, I think that'll be really, really valuable for people to hear.
This actually blows my mind. I still have to pinch myself every single day. Just, is this actually my life? Have I actually done this? It shocks me in one sense, but then it doesn't in another, because I am the sort of person that's a doer, an action taker, and I do take chances. So I basically left my teaching job last August. My background is I am actually a PE teacher. That's what I went to uni to do. Kind of pushed into it because mum and dad, I was academic in school and mum and dad wanted me to go down that route, but I've always had a flair for hair, nails, all things girly. So I actually did that in the background at college when I was doing my A-levels in the day. Teaching's a transferable skill. So I decided it wasn't for me. 30 kids running around and we're trying to play around us and two can catch. That's just my head was like, no, this is not for me. And I decided to open a salon. But before that, I had to do a lot of mobile sort of makeup. I used to stash the cash. And I ended up buying my first property, really run down property. Obviously, no clue what I was getting into. That was in 2018. Had my own salon, really busy, had apprentices, turned it into an academy, which was like VTCT, which is an Ofsted registered body, not just, I'll put up an academy and call it one. It was like a governing body. Genuine. And stuff really good. Worked at the school down the road, had rent off the go. It was booming. And COVID hit.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, COVID hit. I had a bit of a traumatic COVID because one of my apprentices at the time wasn't great. I actually don't like social media because of this. So she actually caused me a lot of trauma through social media. And come back, and then it was mental. And then from when the mental side calms down, you're kind of like, well, people are struggling for money and, because I didn't actually get any furlough because I was a director. But carried on, and I just fell out of love with it. And I'm the sort of person, if I don't love doing something, I just down tool. And I tried, and it just wasn't working. So left teaching last August 23 and shut my salon down, basically just dwindled clients off. Shut that down in December, and we actually tried to sell it at auction because we didn't know what to do with it.
This is the commercial building. So I want to delve into this later on properly, but yeah, this is your shop that you bought, isn't it?
Yeah. So I just we didn't know. I just wanted it gone because when I'm done, done.
And was that because you wanted to cut the ties with the business, and that obviously was a massive part of the business, so that was a symbol of the business, if you like, so you just wanted rid of it?
Yeah. Just wanted rid of it, and I think it's all the memories that come with it, and like I said, really traumatic time in that period of COVID with that apprentice. So, I just wanted it gone. Then it was at auction, and I'd agreed my friend to buy it. She had a beauty salon and wanted an actual property that she owned, not rented. Didn't realise the clauses that was within an auction property at the time, that you tied in. Anybody who obviously inquires within that time, they can't purchase it directly for 3 years, and all the little fine print that you don't read. And when you're not in property, you just don't know. So that fell through, and we kind of we wasted months, not knowing, until my partner actually said, we're just going to turn it back into a house.
Oh, really?
Because it was a small little corner shop before when we bought it.
The job you did.
Yeah, and then it had a house above and behind.
Right.
So we turned it fully commercial, and then we've turned it back fully residential.
Right, okay.
Again, not really knowing how to do that, not knowing that you needed planning permission, you couldn't do it under PD. Yeah. So we started doing that, and then I was at a run. So I was doing Seville Marathon in February, and I got dragged to an event. I think it was £10.
In Seville?
No, so I was dragged to an event in Liverpool.
Oh, right, okay.
My partner he was on board, he wanted to get into property. He knows I've expressed the interest before, and he's plumber, builder, so he's already in it day in, day out. Yeah. I was probably a little bit lost, if I'm completely honest. I didn't really know.
But was the desire there? Did you, obviously it sounds like he was leading you into property. Were you keen from day one, or?
I've expressed my interest in it. I know that was the way to go. I'm kind of I clock onto things before I actually do them. I knew the beauty industry was declining. I get out weirdly before it actually goes
like a sixth sense.
Yeah. And he wanted to go. He was like, come on. And honestly, as OCD as this is, but when you've trained for 20 weeks for a marathon, I don't want to be in a room full of humans. It's just, I don't want a germ. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anybody coughs, I'm like, oh, what's that? Anyway, obviously the demonstration was on point and drew me in.
And who was that? Which organisation?
So that was the Property Circle.
Right.
And Stephen Hamilton.
Yeah, okay. I'm familiar with so Birmingham.
Birmingham, yeah. So I then, there's always an upsell, I figured. I didn't realise that at the time because I'd never been to one. My partner kind of got drew in. I was like, no, I'm not interested. I'm running a marathon. I don't want to be sold. Plus, I wasn't working, so I didn't have the money. I've literally gone from earning a lot of money, and you live to your means. So I had the nice car and stuff like that, and could just go shopping when I wanted and stuff. Well, when I wasn't working, because it was selling my time for money in the shop. To actually not earning anything, probably that's what made me probably a little bit vulnerable at the time and a bit down, and running was my saviour, and I love it, and it kept me on the straight and narrow, if you like. So we were going to Seville, and after that marathon, my partner was like, right, we're joining. I was like, but it's a lot of money, we haven't got the money.
Was it like a mentorship, like a 12-month programme,
it was called a university.
Right.
So it was in there for 12 months, and you're supposed to get education. I think it was the university course, which was 52 weeks. You get the masterclasses, so there was flipping, BRR, deal sourcing, etc. And then we ended up going to another event of his. So we ended up joining. Mm-hmm. I paid £3,000 to join that. And off we went. Property journey started. Right, okay, so I'll start my social media. So I thought, do I carry it on from my running page or no? I like being running, and I like seeing runners. So I wanted the property page to be different. And I thought, no, I'll start again from fresh and build it up. And I am, as I said before, a doer. So anything that Steve actually said, I did. He had an event in Birmingham. I went down to that. You know, from Manchester, it's a good 2 hours. Any opportunity to go and be in his company and be around, you know, so-called active property developers, I'll go.
Yeah.
And I did. And yeah, that was my start into my sort of journey.
So you're obviously all or nothing, which I am as well. I think a lot of people are. But you went to these events. Sounds like your partner was leading it.
Yes.
Was there an instant when you sat through these events, did you think, all right, I'm going to go along with my partner, or did you think, God, I could really like this?
Bearing in mind, I didn't know how much a door or a window cost at this point.
But you were with the right guy.
I'm with the right guy because obviously he does that day in, day out. But you don't listen to your partner, do you?
No, you don't, to be fair.
So, like, you know, you could tell me and I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. And then he'd come in and be like, shut up.
Yeah,
so he was leading it and he was pushing me and he's always wanted me to do well. And he sees behind the scenes that nobody else does, you know. He sees the tears and, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow when you've been this boss-ass bitch, businesswoman, and then you're on your ass, you know.
Starting from the bottom.
And you're starting from the bottom again. And I felt a bit lost, very overwhelmed. What direction do I go in? Then it comes with the pressure. Like, I am all or nothing, but this has to work now. Mm-hmm. You know, at the point, I wanted something that was easier than hairdressing, and I didn't rely on people, it relied on me.
Yeah.
You know, because to scale a salon, you rely on apprentices and other people, and just they're so unreliable because they see the cash that you're earning, not realising the blood, sweat and tears that you put in, and then they want a piece of the pie. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then they end up leaving, taking some of your clientele, and I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to earn money if I'm abroad. I wanted to basically fund my running style, my running life, you know. I wanted to actually go abroad when I want and still earn the money.
Yeah. So have that income, but have the freedom as well. And and most people get into property for that. I think freedom's the number one value. Sounds to me like, you know, with any business, it's like me with my estate agency. A lot of stuff is out of your hands. You're relying on staff, you're relying on trades, etc. Mm-hmm. For you, it was the same with your salon. So it sounds to me like you wanted total control over how your money was earned, which again is common in property investors. So you did the training with Steve. At what point did you convert the shop back to residential? And was that before the training or after the training?
Throughout. So we'd started it previous, and then because it was already done nice, so we didn't need to change the tiles on the floor. It was just more a case of like knocking walls and putting walls up, you know, putting the bathroom in and stuff like that, in the kitchen. It was already really nice. It was replastered when we first did it. So even though it still cost me a lot, and I probably emotionally spent too much on it, I shouldn't do. And really, I should have sold it because it's in my personal name. But you don't know what you don't know. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't know, and it's still in my personal name, and I know that is not the right thing to.
I mean, it's okay. Everybody's tax position is different, but it's okay to have a few in your own name. I've got 8 in my own name, which I'm reducing. Mm-hmm. But if I had 4 or 5, I wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah, it's a good property. It's big. It's an end terraced, and we've actually got a really good tenant in that's moving in at the end of this month now. It's been a long, drawn-out process through being advised wrong throughout the process.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Might not go into that. This might get sued. But it sounds to me like it was perfect timing then. I know the deal wasn't ideal for you and it wasn't what you set out to do, and etc. But having the exposure to renovating a property during your property training.
Yeah.
So many people do these property courses and then they don't do anything for 2 years. It's not down to their own lack of desire or anything. They just don't have the funds or they can't find the right property to purchase. You had a ready-made project.
Yeah.
So did you get involved on site? Did you come,
Yes.
did you witness what was going on?
So I wanted to learn because I think the more knowledge you acquire and the more knowledge you have, the more understanding, you know, you have. Bearing in mind, didn't know how much stuff was. So I wanted to know how much, you know, the windows were going to cost, the labouring of that side of things. Obviously, fortunate again, Lucas's trade is a plumber, so he did all the bathroom side of things and like how much is plastering and skimming. And so I was on all the time. I was making friends with the actual trades because it was important for them to know me as well, to communicate with me, because essentially along the line, it's going to be me that's paying them. So they need to be able to communicate with me. And I think it's really important that, you know, you get that vibe off someone. I think sometimes trades can be a little bit funny when maybe they can be funny anyway, but I think I've had a few like, where's the boss?
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, it's important for me to have that working relationship with them as well and like them.
Definitely.
If I'm going to have them on my projects and I'm essentially giving them the money. So I was documenting it all and yeah, I actually really enjoyed it.
Good. So you were sort of running the project numbers-wise and your partner, Lucas, he says.
Yeah.
So Lucas was he hands-on? Was he doing the work type of thing?
Yeah, so he was hands-on. He was actually working still in his full-time job and then trying to organise that as well, which is difficult, but his wage was paying our bills. So it was kind of, it is what it is. I sold all the furniture out of the salon, bar for one backwash and a salon chair as well, which was at home at this point. But I'd literally down-tooled, so I'd just stopped doing clients. Mentally, I just wasn't there, you know. I was trying my best to get out of this rut, but, you know, when this soil just keeps going underneath you, I just couldn't get out of the hole. And I had, the days were up, down, up, down, up, down. Like, I'd be really motivated one day and next day I'd just be, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? It's never going to work. I was trying to get to Birmingham as much as I could. And then 6 weeks in, I got asked to be the face of Manchester. Yeah, so I was...
What did that involve?
So that was basically I would run the event at Manchester. It was at the Hilton. Massive opportunity, like, wow. Because I'm the sort of person that'll take you on face value, you know, and if you say you are this person, I believe it. So, like, this person to me was like a bigwig in property, like, wow. And he's asked me to be the face of Manchester. I was like, flabbergasted, you know, of course.
This is 6 weeks into the training?
6 weeks.
Well, okay, you're obviously impressed then.
But yeah, because I do, you know, everything. I'm so like regimented in like if it's there, I have to do it and complete it.
Yeah, and you've got the right personality to take on that role as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, but you know, I can teach in front of kids, but like getting in front of adults about a subject that I'm not really. Yeah, talk about hair, yeah, talk about running, but I'm not really fully understanding what property is. You know, all this so much.
Daunting at the time.
So daunting. I was so scared, but I remember that he did say, any opportunity, don't turn it down, take every opportunity. And I am a great believer in that myself anyway.
100%.
Because you just don't know where it could take you. And I just find it mad that some people, no matter how uncomfy it is, turn down opportunities that could, you know, they could leverage on. So, yeah, I took the opportunity, met him actually at the Hilton because we needed to go and view the venue. And then I was asked to be part of his team and work for him.
Well, okay.
6 weeks in.
Right.
Yes.
And are you still working?
No.
Right.
I left. I worked for him till the end of May. Did the event at Manchester, obviously. Then I was events coordinator, which I loved because I think it's a woman's touch, you know, putting bits of food on the table at the event and just being that person that people come to at the front desk, check in, and like I am smiley and happy with everyone. So I was very accommodating with everyone at the events and stuff. And I left at the end of May. We parted ways, right, unfortunately, on bad terms. Yeah. You know, I don't regret my journey whatsoever, but people aren't always who they say they are.
No, that's without a doubt, isn't it? Especially in this industry, it's full of sharks. I say it all the time. It's an unregulated industry, property, especially the training side of property, and there's people earning a lot of money out of teaching things they don't have a clue about themselves.
Mind blowing.
It's unbelievable, but you know they're getting away with it. For how long? For how long I don't know. But anyway, that's another story. So you've got your own event now, and we'll come into that later because it's a brilliant event. So from that, then you've converted it back to residential.
Yeah.
How are you feeling by the end of that? Are you right? Where's the next one? Or are you thinking, bloody hell, I'm fed up already, I'm knackered?
So, to be fair, I did nothing when I worked for him. I did nothing in property. So I've done my first block. Then I've been asked to be the face of Manchester. Then I've absolutely done not a stitch in property, like not looked at a property, not had time. I was commuting to Birmingham 4 times a week, doing events at the weekend. I literally treated his business as if it was my own, which, you know, that's what you want from people
100%,
who work for you. So I am the sort of person that treat people as you would want to be treated. And if it was my business, that's exactly what I'd want. So I did it. So I didn't do a stitch in property. So we're like, I think it was like 12, 13 weeks all in all with him. And I've only done half of that in property. And
it's bizarre.
I know. Don't. Honestly, it's like a roller coaster. When I actually reflect back, I'm really gutted I never had a videographer from the start, you know, to like document the journey.
That would be great viewing, yeah.
Because it's just, nobody actually realises. And I wish people would have seen behind the scenes as well, because that was really emotional and up and down, you know, because it is all, it has to work at this point, you know. Yeah.
Would have been great for you to look back on as well if you had that footage.
Definitely.
But I suppose the exposure, like, it's a bizarre situation that you found yourself in, but the exposure and the experience, being thrown into the deep end, standing at the front of the room talking about something you weren't that au fait on yourself, I bet it must have helped you grow as a person so much.
Yeah, it did. But I think at the time I was being leveraged in the other sense of the word as well, because I was telling my story, which I find very easy to do because it's real, it's the truth. So I stood at the front of the stage in front of, I think we had like, the Manchester event was packed. There were like 120 people there. I was like, wow. The room was so warm as well. And when you're going on stage, you're already nervous. I was like, oh my God. And then I went on a stage a few more times at different events as well, just telling my story, saying about social media and saying, just do it. And, you know, for me, I have no excuses. So I don't excuse myself for anything. So I don't see why anyone else should have an excuse, rightly or wrongly.
No, I love that. Yeah.
But at the end of May, when I did leave, I was, again, like probably further rock bottom because someone who I believed in, something that I'd give my all to, it was gone. And it was like, well, where do I go? Like, I don't know what to do. I need a network. I was thrown out of the university that I'd paid for as well. And I knew I needed support. But at this point, I didn't know which way to turn. So I ended up setting up my own WhatsApp group, thinking, do you know what? I'll just put a WhatsApp group on there because I'd made friends like at these events and stuff. And like, if you're my friend, and I like you and I will do whatever for you. So I set up this WhatsApp group, thought, well, you know, I'll put it on my Instagram. I think I had like 1,000 followers at this point. I put it on there and then people kept joining. And I ended up putting a disassociation post on my story about Steve and the property circle. That was it. Just saying that, you know, I'm no longer part of it. It was to take back the control for me, you know.
Closure.
Because it was controlling me and that wasn't okay. So I needed to take closure, take back control. I think my inbox was peppered. Like, why have you left? Like, I was getting it from all angles. And then, obviously, this WhatsApp group everyone was adding. It's got like 250 odd people in now, which is...
So is it just like a property sort of networking group, just chatting?
Yeah, no deals. I've got the ick with upsells because of where I worked. Don't do upsells. It's literally value.
Just helping each other out.
You need to go in there, actually.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that. There were people I've got like Jason Patterson in there. I've got Aston in there. I've got Paul in there. These people were like Phil Brett. Like, there's such big names that I aspire to were coming into my group. I was like, it's only little me. Yeah. How are these? I kept saying to Lucas, like, these giants are in my group. What is going on? You know? It's
interesting, isn't it? Because you do put people on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I have done in the past. But property, when you're in property, you think everyone invests in property. Yeah. It's such a tiny little group of us that we all want to be part of something, don't we? Even the people that are doing far more than you think they are, than you are yourself. Yeah. They still want to be part of something.
Yeah. And just like, I had like Oliver Adams in there, property freak, like serial trader, like a big guy in his strategy. It's just, it still blows my mind now when I look, but I monitor it really closely. You know, I won't stand for anyone selling. I don't mind people putting events in because I feel like it gives people an opportunity to network and stuff like that. So I don't mind that, but we don't sell deals. You get deleted. You get warned. We don't do like putting our own Instagram posts in, because if everyone did that, it'd just devalue the group, kick people out for it. I am quite strict. I don't care if you've got 10 years on me or what. It's my group. I want to bring a lot of value to the newbies in there, and having big people like yourself who's been in property for years can just answer something for free. Not everything has to be sold, you know, and I think when you're starting in property, newbies are targeted from my experience, and that's what I don't like and I don't agree with. I understand sometimes we have to pay mentors and things like that, absolutely, but you know, I don't agree with people being ripped off, and I don't agree with like targeting them just because at the end of the day, we all go to them events to better ourselves, for our family, kids, whatever, for financial freedom, whatever that looks like to that person. And it's that desperation that ends up buying into running to the back of the room, and I just don't agree with it. So that's why I set up that WhatsApp group.
No, I love that. And there are a lot of people, I know there's a lot of negatives to the property industry, but there are a lot of people out there like myself, like yourself, that are willing to give free advice. Actually feels really good when you help someone, doesn't it? Let's be honest. If you give someone advice, they follow through on it, and then they get a great result, and they thank you. Yeah, that's a brilliant feeling, isn't it? So it's a feeling, an intrinsic feeling that you can't buy. Exactly.
So ironically, you know, and I love that. So that's my pursuit.
Brilliant. No, I love it. So where did we go from there then? Obviously, you bought further properties from there. So where was the second? Where was the second property?
I ended up actually no money. I was essentially owed money also.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What do you do? Like, me and my partner started arguing because financial stress is horrific. And I reached out to Aston, who I'd actually met at one of Steve's events. And he's got like quite a bantery personality, and so have I. I swiped up, giving him a bit of grief, and he gave me a little bit. But just always responding, and that goes a long way. You know, when you've got so many followers, like he had, and you've done so much in property, for you to respond to somebody new like me, it's like, oh my God, they're typing. You know, like, it's nice. And you know, like you say, you put people on a pedestal, but it's actually just not. I don't want to connect with people who think that they're better than you or any of that. Like, we're all equal, and we should all have time for each other. So for the fact he responded went a long way. I seen him set up the network. And in June, I ended up reaching out to him like, I need to be part of this because at this point, I've no education. I've no nothing. I've literally got my WhatsApp group. I didn't know where to go. Jumped on a strategy call and we decided that raising finance was going to be, because when I'd started, I was pushed into deal sourcing, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that as an entry point. I guess the reason they're pushed into that is because it requires no cash.
But it's a ball ache.
It is.
You know, I love actually sourcing for me, but it's not as easy as what people make out. And I feel like people capitalise on the fact that they can sell you a course because there's no cash entry into it.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's not right. Again, it's
like rent to rent.
Yeah. But I actually think rent to rent is easier than
I'd say so,
than deal sourcing, because you find a deal, that's absolutely no problem. But what they don't tell you is actually you should find the investor and then find the deal, because deals are everywhere. They're on Rightmove. You don't have to have off market or be any sort of special person to find a deal, but you do have to be a little bit special to find an investor.
It's a relationship, isn't it?
It is, and it's about the person and stuff like that. So again, if I knew then what I knew now, I put a post up last night actually about, you should find your investors before the deals. I hated deal sourcing.
Yeah, it is
it's
hard work.
so time consuming. You go into the property. Obviously, I was doing viewings and stuff, so I was using that as content as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you're building relationships with the agents as well.
The agents, yeah. And
so there are some positives to be.
Yeah, there was. So I was doing that, but when you think you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, you need to do this, and if it's not working, it's on you, and it's your fault. And I was like, I'm doing everything, and I've still not got no deal.
Yeah.
I've still not sold one. It could be now 6 months until, if I find one now, you've got to go through conveyancing, and then I'm not going to ask for a fee up front because I've got no proof.
Yeah.
So I could rip anyone off, which sources are unfortunately known for, some of them.
Some are, yeah.
And so then I've got to wait 6 months. What, for $3,000? I can't live off that.
And chasing the solicitor every day.
No.
I know.
Not for me. Far too stressful. And I'm all for hard work, but that just seems like tedious.
No, I agree with you on that, because if you find the investor first, and obviously you can tailor your search to their criteria. They might only have so much cash. They might want specifically HMOs. So you actively go out and you're filtering your search down.
Yeah.
As you're just looking for property deals, and then sticking your hand in the air and say, who wants this? It's a long process that way.
I mean, when I was in that university, there was a deal sourcing board that I then found out was fake.
Oh, God.
And obviously, you're trying to work to the board. It says the money that the area, what they're trying to leave in, this, that, and the other. I found out it was just a load of twaddle. So again, it's really, it really gets you down. It's just another kick that you don't need. But I'd found that Aston also doesn't like deal sourcing, so I was like, this guy.
He's my guy.
I like you already.
Yeah.
I decided to understand about raising finance. Mm-hmm. And I think June, again, just the roller coaster continued, because I'd not even understood a JV. I didn't know what a loan agreement was. I kind of not even delved into that at the start of my journey, because I didn't think I was good enough to do that, experienced enough to do that. And through Aston telling me the right way, and also my phone blowing up my inbox about the wrong way to do it, because people had found out that I'd left. People were then asking me about what money I was owed, and they're owed this, It kind of just went. It was 1 minute I was dealing with past, next minute I was dealing with my future. I was like, whoa, what is this? So June was just a mad month, mad for me. But I ended up raising in June, I think I'd raised 350 grand.
Which is incredible. So am I right in saying that you've raised nigh on £1 million this year?
Yeah.
Right. Just take us through that, because even for myself, that's to hear that is incredible. For someone looking to start out and for maybe someone who's got 1 or 2 properties and has run out of cash, is looking to raise finance. Where do you start?
You start by understanding how to do it. Probably before that, you start by social media.
Yeah,
I got four investors from my Instagram. I know people
that you didn't know before.
So I'd met them at an event, funnily enough, and I think that's a really nice little feedback without saying it to me, because I must have come across well. Yep. And that's another thing I would say, your social media has to match you. So I always try and be really transparent. I show the highs, the lows, my Weetabix in the morning. I show like literally all my life, like running, you know, everything about me, because people want to know you. They don't actually buy into the business. So I was called the Blonde Runner. And nobody knows my name. So when I'm at races and stuff, they go, Blonde Runner. I'm like, honestly, it makes me laugh. But I thought, what do I call myself on socials? I thought, well, just blonde property investor. I don't know.
It's great. It's a brand. It's very memorable.
Yeah.
And it was only about 3 weeks ago I learnt your name, I'll be honest. When I came down to your event. Yeah. It's like, if I'm going to speak to you, I need to know a real name. So that's great. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think it is about branding and, you know, having that sort of handle that people remember you by. And, you know, I think in property, I perceive property as like suits, very wealthy. I wouldn't say stuck up, but, you know, that's
quite pretentious at times.
Yeah, it can be. And then I've come in and I'm like, I like pink, and I like being this little Barbie doll and the blonde, and I like all this sort of everything that's opposite to what you would find as a property investor as stereotypically known.
Because you're genuine. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, but me being the suited, booted, which I do sometimes, but I mean, being that person, I'd just be being fake, because I'm so uncomfy being that. Yeah. I'm comfy in what I'm comfy in, pink and gym stuff, and that's me. I go to viewings in bright pink gym stuff, a bright pink coat.
You've even brought a pink can of Coke. I don't think you can see it on camera, but you brought a pink can of Coke. There are other brands available. But I love that.
I'm not sponsored by Diet Coke, but if they want it.
No, yeah. One day.
Yeah. And yeah, just being that person on social media, keep turning up, be consistent with it, post. People say to me all the time, I don't know what to post. I'm no properties. What do I post? Post your viewings, you know, post any sort of network calls, mentorship calls, post what's happened in your day, post your wins, your losses. Like, there's so much to post. Yeah. If you are funny, I don't actually get jokes. So I don't try and be funny on socials. Like, you know, when people do like memes and stuff, it takes me a bit to like, I watch it a few times and I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny that, you know, but I've already killed the actual joke. So, you know, if you are funny, you've got that personality, do that. Yeah. Be you know, and try to add value, do your journey, but don't try and teach anyone. That's something very difficult as a teacher not to teach. Yeah. But what I try and do now is give value through my experience. Like, why should you not have a property in your personal name and should have it in a limited company? For me, it's my experience as it would be for you. So I can actually give that information. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't try and start going into rent to rent because I absolutely have no clue about it. And I think sometimes when you see people come onto social media and new, they try and start teaching straight away. Yeah. Well, I just scroll past. It's boring.
I'm the same,
You know, I want to, people buy into people. They want to know about my journey. That's why I'm here.
Exactly.
You know.
So in a nutshell, if you're going to raise finance, social media, massive part of it. Make sure your physical presence when you're meeting people in networking events matches what it is.
Yeah.
Anything else?
You've got to know how to do it the right way. And I think it's a mindset. I'm massive on mindset. I think, again, that boils down to my running. It's mind over matter. You know, I remember asking, I've got a big investor now, and she is, her and her husband are the nicest people, like so lovely on a personal level. But I know, like, she works for a big corporate firm. He has a massive, massive company. They know what business is and they know the ins and outs of it. So for me to go and ask, oh, can I have this amount of money? Like, that's nerve-wracking, you know. But you've just got to be confident of what you're bringing to the table. Exactly. You know, I'm bringing the deal. I'm bringing all the, like, your hands off, really. Although you're giving the money, that's your part of the deal. You know, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Because I think a lot of people, well, they're transferring me, like, over 200 grand, blah, blah, blah. What am I doing for that?
Is it deal specific? You're bringing them specific deals and saying, I need the cash for this, or you're saying to them, look, can I lend this money? I'm on the lookout for this.
So that, with that particular one, I had a flip property that is actually still in legal, so probate. Like, again, it's a learning curve. And it's got like £60,000 worth of profit in it. So we're doing a profit share on that one. But I asked her, basically said I could have a meeting, you know, and I approached her rather than him because I already have a really good relationship with her. He's a little bit more shy, even though we do go out for meals and stuff. I just get on better with her and felt like I was comfier. We went out for the afternoon, and then it just got down to business. So what is it that you want? And I just was like, well, yeah, I just want £265,000, please.
Yeah.
But without her even having to say, I explained the security, I explained the PG, I explained the assets that I own. Again, PGs are only good if you own assets, you know. Yeah. It's not good if everything's rented.
Your skin, yeah,
they're
exactly,
absolutely not worth the paper they're written on. So, again, it gives the investor security and reassurance that, and again, they're not having to ask, you know, because that's going to be your problem, isn't it? If you're transferring that amount of money, well, what security do I get with that?
Yeah, you've got it all in place.
All in place. I kind of went in, and I do with everything. Daniel Priestley says it, with or without you. I will do something with or without someone. If I give you the opportunity to do it, it's your loss if you don't take it. And that's just it's mindset. Yeah. A lot of people struggle with the mindset.
You communicate that to the investor?
I think
that I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think you communicate that in like an aura and an energy. I am very much like an energy person, so I can read bad energy, and weirdly, it's like empath sort of stuff, isn't it? But yeah, energy, and I just have that energy that, you know, I will do it with or without you. And if you know me, then you know that I definitely will. Brilliant. So I kind of go in there very confident but not cocky, and this is it, want to do it, brill, no worries, I'll go
on the next one.
On to the next one. Within 20 minutes of me leaving her, she'd already rang her partner, who was in Benidorm at the time, right. On holiday, and rang me back. We would love to do it.
Brilliant.
So yeah, that was one.
That was a good feeling then.
Yeah, great feeling.
Yeah. So you got that one stuck in legals, then the flip, which must be frustrating for you.
Yeah.
Have you bought any others? Have you bought any buy-to-lets? Have you?
Yeah, I got offered an off-market deal, and I ended up getting my investors from Instagram. So that's on a loan agreement basis for this one. I've had it 4 weeks, and we're up to plastering.
Right.
So it's going to be done by the end of October, that
Brilliant.
One.
Is that a buy-to-let?
Yeah, we're gonna keep it. I think it's just be daft not to.
Yeah. You want a balance, don't you?
Yeah.
Keep building your cash pot up with flips. That's what I always tell people.
Yeah.
You want your slow money as well. You want your reliable money.
Yeah.
That the buy-to-lets give you.
And I love the transformation of I love ripping it out. And nobody will recognise this property. Nobody would recognise the commercial property when we had it first time to now. No one will recognise this property, and that's my favourite thing. And I think that's something that you've got to do. You've got to love what you do.
Of course you do.
Didn't love deal sourcing. I love the transformation, but I suppose that's a bit obvious. I like doing hair, so I like taking hair from a shit colour to a lovely colour.
Yeah.
from really short to really long. You know, so transformations. Creative. Yeah, I am creative, and I think, although that's kind of obvious, it's only obvious now when I think back of it.
Yeah, and you can even be you can be creative with your buy-to-lets, can't you? It doesn't have to cost the world.
No.
You know, with your flips and your serviced accommodation, HMOs, it's easier because the cash flow coming in is going to be higher. It's easier to go out and be creative, spend the extra 10 or 20 grand on the finishes. But you can do that with buy-to-lets as well. I see so many people still to this day and age rolling out boring buy-to-lets, just everything's just grey and white, cheap and nasty. I just think in 3 years' time it's going to look horrendous.
When I say about my refurb cost, and then, you know, sometimes you get the agents telling you what the refurb cost should be, I think to myself, yeah, but it's just not my standard. And if I'm putting my name to something, I've got to have a good standard. Because
your properties are your brand.
Of course. So they're always done really nice. And I think then you can be a little bit fussier with your clientele who are in the properties as well.
Exactly.
So we've got a professional rugby player in the commercial to residential property. Again, I know he's going to treat it right and everything else, you know. So, yeah, I think standards have to be kept. I go to so many, like, viewings, or I see things on social media, on Rightmove, and I look at recently renovated and I think, ooh, like, that is awful.
Yeah.
And I want to be that landlord that just because you rent and you're in the situation where you need to rent, it doesn't mean you should have any less of a property. It can still be a home. I'm very, like, passionate about that, you know. Again, it's that not looking down on people and,
of course,
being equal and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, you want to have a lovely home living, don't you?
Yeah.
So what does the future hold then for you? I mean, sky's the limit, obviously, but what's your main focus at the moment? What are you looking for? What's the next level for you?
So I've actually picked my keys up from my other property this week. I'm going into the HMO space.
Oh, right, okay.
So very excited.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah.
Yeah, very excited, very eager to learn, because I know there's so many different regs and stuff, which, again...
But you learn again on the job.
Lucas knows.
Yeah.
I don't.
And at this stage, is he doing all the refurb works?
So, yeah, he's doing all the refurb works. I ended up getting a mentor, and part of, obviously, a network, but I ended up getting a mentor, Justin Ingray.
Oh, yes, yeah. I've spoken to him on Instagram before.
Yeah, very...
He's all HMOs, isn't he?
Yeah, and I'm very dubious now about giving someone my money and, you know, you just don't know who the shark is. And I've not been in it long enough to know. So did a bit of due diligence, which I didn't do previous. I've obviously raised the cash, so I'm going in probably with a bit of an advantage that I've already got the cash. But I needed somebody to hold my hand through. You know, it's the valuations on HMOs, isn't it? It can just do a deal. You know, I need somebody to teach me the right way to do it, how to maximise the rooms and stuff like that, and the rental, where to look. Like, I ain't got a clue.
No. That money you're giving Justin is you'll get more than that, threefold back. You know, you're paying for specific guidance, aren't you?
Yes.
And you can see he's genuinely doing it himself over and over and over. So why would you not pay him for his time? Exactly.
Well, my friend who I'd met at the start of my journey, we went on this deal sourcing day, but we clicked straight away, and he's one of the funniest guys, Ash. So he was already one of his mentees. So I know he's straight talking, he's from around mine, and I know he would actually tell me exactly if there was, like, if it was shady, if things weren't as what they were sold to be. And, you know, he didn't have anything but good words to say. So I've been with Justin now 4 weeks. I've got HMO keys. I've got one in legals, another one in legals.
Another HMO?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Are these in Manchester?
So one's in Warrington.
Right.
Yeah, outskirts of Manchester. And one's in Bury, which is, again, outskirts of Manchester. And then I've put 2 other offers in for 2 more HMOs.
Right.
Yeah, it's mad when people find about property, doing property, how many people throw properties at you, like off market and stuff. Because because agents want them in and out. If they don't have to advertise, it saves them cost. They know I'm not a messer. I can act quick. My solicitor's really good. Again, that was recommended through Aston. I got ripped off when I was with Steve through being recommended a solicitor that way. Just really, like, I keep getting thrown properties now, which is... Last week I had a little bit of an overwhelm moment where I just had to take a step back. I was getting the keys for my first HMO. I was being thrown, like, investor money. I met someone in the sauna giving me money, 100
I've
grand.
had some great property chats in saunas.
I have, honestly. It was like, mind blow. Come out of the sauna. And I had to make it clear that I wasn't in a bikini. I was in a full swimsuit up here. There were no bits out, so I weren't taking advantage or anything. Honest to God, it was just mad. And last week was just, right, step back. I want to enjoy it. Take it in. I've done a lot in the short space of time. And it's actually here. Like, everything that I've manifested, wanted, I thought it was a million light years away, is literally at my fingertips. So sometimes I think anxiety and excitement can be it can be the same feeling, can't it?
100%.
And I had to just distinguish which one it was. And it was more excitement, just with a bit of overwhelm.
Yeah. I saw something on Instagram the other day that said overwhelm is the price you pay for growth.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. But, whenever you go to the next stage, and you obviously experiencing some amazing things at the moment, I'd be worried if you weren't overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But it's so exciting, but it's also very daunting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then you'll grow into that, and that situation will no longer be daunting, but your next one will.
Yeah.
When you start buying commercial buildings. But you'll do it.
Yeah.
I can tell. That's, the sky's the limit. So, yeah, I think I've learned to love overwhelm.
Yeah.
Slowly. I think it's important to do that.
It is. It's like I say, I just want to enjoy it, and I am 100 mile an hour. I like it. I like working under pressure. I like always doing, otherwise it gives my mind too much time to think, and I can only run so much. So,
Exactly,
I can't just go out on a run for all them hours. But I just really want to enjoy it, and I kind of know where I'm at as commercial properties go. I seen one be great for a 9-10 bed HMO, but I'm just staying in my lane right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
6 beds. Mm-hmm. Get comfy with that. As soon as I'm comfy, then that's no good anymore. We need to go into the planning application and stuff like that. So it's exciting that there's no like ceiling. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no ceiling on it. You can do like 7 bed, 8 bed, and can get into commercial units and stuff like that. So auction, I've got so much to experience.
Of course you have.
So.
But you don't want to go too fast either, because you want to enjoy it as well, don't you? You want to be present in it, which is what I'm teaching myself. You need to be present in it and enjoy it, enjoy the process, rather than, I'm always looking for the next deal. I'm always looking for the next business to buy now, and you just got to relax and enjoy what you're doing, because you want to look back and think, I experienced that.
Yeah, definitely. And take in the knowledge as well, because there's a lot of stuff to take in. And a lot of stuff that I don't even enjoy, like accountancies and stuff like that side of things. The boring stuff that is my role within the business,
But it won't always be.
No, but at the minute, I'm the face of the business. Lucas is the builder, so I end up doing all the paperwork and all the shitty jobs that he gets out of. And it's just it's not fun sometimes, is it, doing that? They're the boring stuff. Like, I don't want to do emails. Like, that's just boring for me.
Yeah. He'd probably say the same thing, though, when he's in a loft.
Yeah.
It's got rats in, and she's got all the bloody paperwork in the office, in the air-conditioned office. Yeah. So what is the end goal for you, then?
I suppose it's like anyone. I just want to be financially free. But
what does that look like?
That, to me, isn't how much is in the bank as such, although obviously money is what helps us become financially free. It's just the freedom to go away. I want to go away every month. I want to live life. I have had a ball and chain on my foot with that shop. I was there all the time. I ended up working 7 days with the academy and everything as well. And yeah, it was great because I was earning a lot of money, but I want to be experiencing things, I want to go away. I want to work abroad if I want, go to wherever for a couple of months. If I want to go running, and I want to go to like altitude camps, I can do, and I can still work and earn money. That's sort of like how I see freedom, is just being able to do what you want when you want. Enjoy.
You must have a sense of freedom already from how far you've come this year, leaving the shop, doing what you're doing. I know you're not where you want to be yet, like most of us, but there must be a sense of freedom already, knowing that you're working for yourself.
Yeah.
But you're not chained to a shop.
It's a weird feeling, though, when you get the freedom, and I think you might be able to understand, I feel like I'm not doing enough.
You'll always feel like that.
And it's awful. Like, because it's not that I'm not doing anything, because you're doing, I think it's that mindset of being paid for your time. So obviously, I do someone's hair, or I work in school, or I teach someone a course, I get paid. Right now, I don't get paid putting a post on social media. I don't get paid for getting the house and stuff like that. I'm not getting a transaction. I think it's just morphing into a different mindset, that it's a different kind of pay.
And in a way, indirectly, you are getting paid for that for that Instagram post, and you are getting paid for getting the keys to your new house.
Yeah.
Just indirect, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's, again, a concept that I think creates that I'm not doing enough, or, I need to do more. That's that side of things.
I think we'll always feel like that, is that to be the type of person to do property full time, you have to be driven and you have to be looking for the next thing, even though it needs to be controlled. But I think even when you're doing multi-million pound deals, you'll still feel like you should be doing more.
Yeah.
But honestly, Danielle, we're running out of time, unfortunately, but it's been a fantastic insight.
Thank you.
I didn't know half of your story. I could sit for another 3 hours because I've got so many questions, which I'm probably going to ask you off camera.
Okay.
Questions I can't ask on camera. But it's just so inspiring. Honestly, you're absolutely smashing it. And for anyone that wants to go to a property event in Manchester, when's the next one?
February.
It's an unbelievable event. It's the best property event I've been to. Lovely atmosphere, lovely people, but a lot of value and great food, great chicken skewers.
I wouldn't know. I didn't have any food.
Did you not?
I was too busy talking.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you'll have to come and speak.
It was such a lovely group. Yeah, I will. I'll be happy to speak. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have you on again. And until then, just keep smashing it. I'm sure you will. I'm really looking forward to following your journey on your Instagram. So is that the best place for people to reach you?
Yeah. The Blonde Property Investor.
Yeah. We'll never forget that. Right, if you are listening or watching online, please do like, subscribe and share. It really does help. Until next time, take care.